on to my negative points. First, I do feel that not necessarily Warner Brothers, but Rocksteady, I feel like they pushed the T rating a little too far. While I did enjoy the dialogue that went throughout the game, I felt that some of it was a little unnecessary. I didn't want to hear what this criminal was going to do to Catwoman, or even Ivy, or any other female characters that are introduced. I felt like the language barrier, they didn't go too far, but I feel like there were some things that could have been left out. But all in all, it didn't take away from the experience. Number two, I feel like there were some points, if you read the comics, if you watched the animated series, if you have a lot of Batman lore in that mind, there are going to be parts of the story that you wonder, okay, how did this happen? How did that happen? That's not how it goes, because there's a few continuity areas throughout the game. In one situation I will give an example of, there's a point in the game where Batman meets up with a villain that he knows very well. While the conversation between them seemed as if they'd known each other for so long, when he begins to conversate with Barbara, one of the other characters in the game, he talks about this guy as if he knows nothing of him, and he knows nothing of this technology that's within his possession. And if you played the game, you know what I'm talking about. Next, I feel like there were some things missing. The best way to describe it is the way Vash12349 would put it. There were some bootleg moments missing in this game. And when I say that, I mean, in the first Arkham Asylum, if you had the Batclaw, you could pull people down off of the ledges. Sometimes when Batman would pull someone off the ledge, they would just fall, you know. And I know Batman doesn't kill, and I know you're in a bigger setting, but it would have been nice to Batclaw a few people off a building, especially during the missions with the snipers and when they started to carry weapons. The only weapon I found that I was able to do that with was the remote control Batarang, which was kind of sad. I wish it could have been used with the Batclaw, or it would have been nice to punch somebody off a building. I mean, I know Batman is a hero and all, but come on, I would have been wanted to have a little fun. You know, I know they were trying to make it more to the realism and things, but in real life, there are no invisible walls. I'll just leave it at that. Next is, I missed the Batclaw. I really did. The Batclaw was amazing, but where was the Ultra Batclaw? Did Batman throw out the piece before he flew out of the Batjet at the end of the first game? Because I mean, the Ultra Batclaw would have been very useful in this game, especially with some of the Riddler challenges. Even taking down thugs, being able to pull down a wall and have it crumble on a thug or two, it would have been fun. Now, that's not to say that having these things in the game, not having them in the game, took away from the experience. It didn't, but I wanted to have a few more laughs as I played through the game. While yes, I was able to laugh and enjoy it, there were other times where I was like, man, I wish I could have done this and done that. But if you want to have an idea of what I'm talking about, definitely check out Vash's Arkham Asylum playthrough, because he does some of the most bootlegger stuff on the planet, and he's probably one of the best commentators out there. And I will actually have the link to his playthrough in the video description. Definitely check it out. He is awesome. Now on to the positive points. Number one, throughout the story, I love the plot twists. I love how there were moments where your jaw just dropped because you couldn't believe what was going on. You couldn't believe when did this happen? Like, there were so many moments where you were just in shock. At the same time, you were interested in the characters. You were still driven to go forward in the story. Number two were the boss fights. To be honest, Batman Arkham Asylum, their boss fights were a little lacking, especially the last boss against the Joker. I felt like it was lacking and something was missing. But in this game, they did nothing but increase the boss fight, and it felt like every boss fight was different. Every boss fight felt unique, whether you were dueling Mr. Freeze, fighting another mysterious character, fighting Two-Face even. I mean, the amount of villains that you fight in this game was amazing. But hands down, my favorite boss fight had to be with Mr. Freeze. And let's just say, you can't do the same thing twice with this guy. And I'll leave it at that. Next is a very, very key part in the game that I know a lot of people really didn't pay attention to, but I loved it. And that was what Batman was told by Alfred. This happens around the end of the game, but Alfred says something to the level of something that Michael Caine said as Alfred in The Dark Knight, because he went over Batman's head, but he was honest with him. And that's the connection I like to see between Alfred and Batman. And that was very, very good. I really enjoyed that. Now, that my negative and my positive points have been brought up, I know it's probably going to be some years before they do the next game. But these are a few of my ideas. And after I give out my ideas, or even while, leave a comment, leave something, or give me some of your ideas, something that you like to see in the next game, or not even just this game, but just one in general. For one, with the way that this game is going, all they have to do if they were to go to the next game was put it in Gotham City. Put it in Gotham City, make it where he can go underwater, because it would be nice to see some of the water things, or being able to fly in the vehicles, but I hope, please, if they do that, please get a company that knows how to make good driving controls. Just, that's all I ask, but I'll leave it at that. But another thing I would like to see is, use of other characters, but who knows, they might already be working on this with Arkham City already. But not only would I like to see Batman get more of this, I would love to see some of the characters who aren't well known get some of this treatment. Number one, for example, the Green Arrow, or I'm not saying, do this with a Superman game, because not bashing on Superman, but Superman does not have to worry about bullets. He does not have to worry about knives. He does not have to worry about taking down opponents. If he wants to burn everybody, he can do it. If he wants to freeze everybody, he can do it. And I've heard a lot of people saying, oh, they need to do Superman this way, they need to do Superman this way. I'm sorry, but it cannot be done. I'm not trying to, like I said, I'm not trying to bash, but Superman is indeed a superhero. Nothing can really hurt him other than kryptonite, or if you take this to another planet. Other than that, I don't see that happening. But with characters like Green Arrow, or even the Flash, if he's put in a situation where his speed cannot fully be used, or even Wonder Woman, because technically Wonder Woman is not invincible. She just has the wrist things and the lasso, but characters who can die, pretty much is the best way to put it. Characters who can truly die are characters you'd want to integrate into this universe. Next, I have another example, Deathstroke. Let's take it to a villain standpoint. No, Deathstroke technically is not a villain. He's more of a anti-hero, because he follows rules, he has guidelines of his own. But it'd be nice to play as a villain or an anti-hero for once. It would be nice to go around doing assassination missions or having fun. No, I'm not saying he has to be a violent game and has to have blood, sex, and drugs, but it could be the same level of Arkham City, except with Deathstroke. Another game characters I would like to see are, like I said earlier, the Teen Titans. Not the Teen Titans from Cartoon Network, the Teen Titans in the comics. Because who would not want to switch between Starfire, Beast Boy, Cyborg, Raven, and Robin? Who wouldn't? That would be the best thing in the world. And to be honest, they do it with the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles back on the NES. Why can't we do it now with our currently existing technology? But that's just me. My final thoughts. At the end of the day, Batman Arkham City is without a doubt one of the best games of this year. Is it the best in the world? No, because I don't believe that. Every game has its flaws, but for a superhero game, this one is amazing, and it truly does immerse you into that world. But in saying that, I will say this. To me personally, I feel like the Batman Arkham City story is better than the Dark Knight film. And I've talked to a lot of people, I've discussed this with a lot of people, and it's been half and half. Some people feel like this is on the same caliber as the Dark Knight, but I also feel like it's better in the Dark Knight in different ways. Number one, I feel like the story is a lot stronger, it's a lot deeper. While yes, the Dark Knight story, it does grip you. There are moments where you're in shock and awe. I feel like Batman Arkham City, it adds more to the character. It makes it more immersive. But once again, we're trying to compare a game and a film. A film you have no control over, a character you do. So that's just my opinion. I'm looking at it on the story standpoints, not as where they are in general as far as the media type. And secondly, to be honest, Batman Arkham City, along with a few other games I've seen recently, have better scripts and take more time than most films that come out today, which is kind of sad. At one point, film media used to be the biggest thing because all the films for that year, some were cheesy, some were crazy, some were even stupid, but they were good. I feel like now people are just rushing things out, but I'm not going to get on that topic right now. But all in all, I give Batman Arkham City a 9.5 out of 10. I highly recommend that you pick this game up.